All right, Leandro, I know we had some time to chat before we actually put record, but I'm
Yes,
excited
sir.
for this one, man. As I was telling you before, the first thing I said, it's hard to find those genuine people online that are willing to, communicate with you, help you in different areas, share value, right? And I'm just honored to have you, man, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for inviting me. I was like connecting with like-minded individuals, so
Yeah.
this is an honor to me too. So yeah, let's get it.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and as usual, I'd like a brief introduction. I've seen a little bit about you on Twitter, what you're
Mhm.
building, your roles, in tech, things like that. So for the audience, man, a little brief introduction to who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. So I am. My name's Leandro. Yeah. If you didn't already know, um, I'm British.
Oh, nice.
I'm
Okay.
Yeah. I'm of Caribbean descent, mostly Jamaican.
Oh,
A little bit of Cuban
okay.
for added measure. um, my career started in IT a long time ago.
Mm,
I talked my way into a role with a global consultancy. I dropped out of university twice
okay.
because I just wanted to get going with work.
Yeah.
So um, there was my dad who introduced me to someone who was worked at Accenture, which was a large consultancy at the
Yeah.
time, and I criticized one of their data center structures at the time, and they said, we need to hire this guy. So that was the beginning. So yeah, I worked
Yeah.
20 years now in corporate in the corporate world within IT.
Okay.
And now since the last 4 years, I've tried to do my own thing, try
Yeah.
to free myself from that. And yeah, that's me now.
I've seen that. I've seen that, and I'm gonna be talking about that and asking you questions about that.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
Now, my one of the things I like to find out, when I talk to people in tech, like you mentioned, you have 20 years under your belt in the corporate area, right? Was that something you envision yourself being in? Were you kind of like, did you want to be in that space? What did Leandro like want to be when he grew up?
I never want so this is the thing. I never wanted to be anything. I just
Mm,
wanted to survive. I just wanted to be able to
mm,
make bread, make
yeah,
enough money to be able to get on. It was not really a career first thing. It was more like a life first thing. That's
I
my,
see.
my mantra, so to speak. So
Okay.
whatever I happen to be good in,
Hmm.
and it could make me money, so then I would do that. So
Okay.
again, just like I said, just talking my way into a role within a consultancy, and
Yeah.
then I just so happened to work my way up because I just happened to be skilled in that. But it wasn't a deliberate. I can't say that it was a deliberate thing. I had this master plan at all. It
Definitely.
just it was just more like I enjoy life. I like things. I like, of course, you need your food and a roof over your head, and so it was just survival for the most part. And
That's
I just so happened to be good at that.
It's interesting you say that, because I think a lot of us, I feel, being human, right? Obviously, it's
Mm.
it's do or die, right?
Yeah,
You
for
you,
sure.
you got to survive, and
Mm.
through that, obviously, like you said, you acquire some skills that you probably get good at. Someone compensates you for it, and you work your way up, right? Now,
Absolutely.
was that like instilled in you? Like, how's you have any siblings? Like, what were your parents telling you growing up? Like, was it
Oh,
that
yeah.
survival mode type of thing?
Yeah, so I mean, survival was built in. I'm not saying I was raised in the ghetto or anything like that. I was okay
Yeah.
within the UK, but my the my parents, when they came over from Jamaica, they had to fight every day for their survival. Although
Definitely.
they were welcomed into the country, they had to fight physically every single day. That's my mother and my dad separately. They had to fight
Yeah.
every day to survive. So they set that foundation and they
Hmm.
instilled that within me. And so when I was younger, they said, look, you need to make it in any which way you can
Definitely.
to survive in the structure that society is, you know?
Definitely. Yeah.
So if you find your skill, just work at that. Um,
Definitely.
and that was it. So yeah, that was instilled for me from my parents for sure. From
Yeah.
the
That's
stories that they told me.
that's amazing, man. and
Mm.
and I think it's crucial too, because within our co-founders, like you mentioned, like, I'm from Latino descent, right? I'm from Mexican
Yeah,
descent. And
right.
you hear stories, you learn from your parents, and they
For
tell you
sure.
about their upbringing, and it's so crazy because we're not so far away from them, like that time. But
No, not at all.
and so many things have changed, and similar to
Mm.
you, I'm pretty privileged enough to be in a position that I am now, right? Even just having access to the internet, right? And being lucky in that sense. So, but you also learn from that adversity from your parents that you don't necessarily have to face through like that, like firsthand too much. I don't want to say you haven't faced any adversity, but like our parents, right? Like you said,
Yeah,
they came from Jamaica and they literally had to do survival, right?
for sure.
So
It was physical. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So I wanted to ask you, are you currently you have a role at Product Hunt? You
yes, I do, and it's really beautiful actually.
awesome,
So
man.
I've been building my thing for the last 4 years,
Mm,
and as it happened, it's been self-funded, so I'm
okay.
not financially as flush. So when this role came up 6 months ago now, it was part-time. It was advertised as part-time, which is really great because I can do it from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yeah.
and then carry on working on my thing. And I said this in my interview, and as it's remote and they're really, this modern, really positive environment and really great team, they're
Awesome,
really
man.
understanding of that. So I'm in a really blessed position to experience this right now. So yeah.
That's good, man. And your role is working with the community, like is it's a community
Yes.
role?
So anything that you see, yes. So it's me within a team. It's not just me alone. There's a
Mhm.
few of us, and it's an awesome team. And so
Awesome.
anything that you see on producthunt.com that's posted,
Uh-huh.
we help moderate that.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yes, and any problems that might occur
Yeah.
um, with via the intercom bubble that you see on the website
Yeah.
or to the email address, we help with any
Yeah.
kind of issues that might happen. Yeah, so that's what I do is community support.
Awesome. I find myself being on Product Hunt pretty often now because, I like to look up at different things coming up. We're trying to, obviously, when we launch, we want to have a space there and then, showcase our product, right? So I've been in
Mm,
there, man. There's some cool stuff, cool people, man. The,
right.
the community itself, though, like the Product Hunt culture is
Mm,
super, super cool, man. I love it. I found people on there. I found them on Twitter, communicated and like super
mm,
genuine, like I was saying, like genuine,
absolutely.
genuine people.
Yes. Yes.
I like that. And I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask you was before we kind of dive into your stuff. I know you have a product yourself. I want to talk
For
about
sure.
that, and also
Yeah.
being a bootstrapped startup, if you will, right?
Mm,
But
mm,
before we move on, like I'm very into community right now in the sense
for
of
sure.
my role right now at Learn is pretty much experience officer, and that allows me to wear different hats, talking to possible educators, talking to possible users, that
Mm.
relationship, right? Conducting surveys, building that community, building that culture. Now, what is something that you've seen that actually kind of solidifies a good community? Like, what makes a good community, do you think?
Wow, that's a great question. Because community is everything, and it really is like especially online community is a microcosm, like a
Mm,
small part of the human experience, right?
correct.
Because everyone says it takes a tribe, but it really is the case, and you see it living out in the community. But to answer your question, I would say people just being open and sharing of themselves,
Okay.
not
Yeah.
being selfish, just being there for one another. Oh, you don't know this thing?
Mm,
I know it. Let me teach you. Let me show you, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Or I've succeeded, right? I'm not going to fly off and go off, whatever. I'm just going to show you how I've
Mm,
succeeded, and maybe some skills can cross pollinate into other areas of your life or maybe the community's life. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's about sharing. It's
Okay.
about just giving a damn about your fellow human being. I think
Mm,
that's really the key for
that's
sure.
that's definitely true. Do you think
Mm,
do you think that's something that has to be kind of laid out through the foundation of the company itself? Like, for example, hypothetical situation, Product Hunt is an up and coming startup. They want to create that culture, that community within people where like, hey, let's help each other out. You don't know that, let me help you, vice versa. Is that the foundation that the company has to lay out first so people can actually like, okay, this is what it's about? Or do you think people are genuinely like, I would like to assume that most people are actually helpful people and nice people,
mm,
but
mm,
you get that case where some people, like I mentioned earlier, is this ego, right? Like, do you think it's a
for sure.
foundation the company kind of has to come out with themselves first?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm building a company right now, so
Yeah.
I have my own thoughts on that. In regards to product, and I can't say directly, because I'm not the leadership of that, and I don't want to
Correct.
kind of take away from that. But from what I can
Definitely.
see, Ryan, he leads from the top down. He's like, just how can I help? How can we build? How can we support each other? So it's very much an enabling environment, and I take from that as well. And I'm of the same opinion that you really find your tribe, so to speak, and get the right people around you within the company, and you just enable each other to do your best.
Definitely.
You know.
Yeah.
No. Just put your own shit aside, like put your own ego aside, and just do your best, and have they call it have a North Star, right? So what's your mission? To be useful to others, or to improve people's lives, or whether it's something really specific, but have that as a guiding force. And I think you have to communicate that. That's really important.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you can have good people working with you, but you have to say where you're going.
Exactly.
You have to, so I think that is important. And people are generally, like what you were alluding to, people generally speaking, what I've noticed, they're good, man. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
People are, generally speaking, people are good. We see all the in the world going on, but generally speaking, people are good.
Yeah, I agree.
But at the same time, they need direction, especially when we're talking about this invisible force of a company, of a mission. It's an invisible thing.
I like
that. You got to tell them what it is, like where are we going, what we're doing, are we going here, are we going there, what do we believe in? And so there has to be that bit of, this is what we believe in, and this is where we're going, and this is what we're gonna affect. So
I like that. I like that. I've never heard it that way. It's an invisible force, and it literally is, because you have to concisely and effectively communicate that North Star, that mission, right?
Absolutely. Wow. And it's been said before, but when you really think about it, a company, it's not a building.
Yeah.
It's not even the people. It's like is it the legal document when you register that ink? No, it's not. It's many things. It's like this spectrum of stuff, and you have to somehow bound it into this thing. So that's where the leadership comes in. You need to really see it on several levels and say, oh shit, there's so much, there's this people experience, there's this North Star. Okay, right. What are we doing? What is the point to us existing? What changes are we going to affect? What's the point? Right. So
love it.
Yeah, man. So that's how I think about it.
I like that explanation a lot. And the final thing I kind of want to ask you for about community is more general, because you think about big companies, right? Speaking about that force, and you think of, I could think of Apple, for instance, right? They have amazing products, arguable of you have people that don't like Apple, right? You have Google, Facebook, all different types of products, right? My question here is kind of just general. I want to get your insight on this. Do you think that community is a good indicator of success in the long run? Meaning, like, do you think you could solely have just a great product and take the community away and let it speak for itself? Or do you think community has a big factor in the long run?
I mean, if the product is for the people, if people are going to use the product, it's a natural binding. It's a natural binding force.
Correct.
Community comes with that. I don't believe, I could be entirely wrong, because my mantra is like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, right? Everything is a best guess based on my own life experiences, but from what I know,
I like
community is intrinsically linked.
Okay.
So you're giving something to the people. They're saying, hey, we like this, give us more of that. Or we like this, but maybe change a little bit,
Okay.
So
makes sense.
It's entirely linked. You have one with the other, to me,
Correct.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I like it. I
hope that answers your question.
No, I think I love your honesty, and I love the way you explain it. And like you said, it's something, we're taking a guess at it, right? I wasn't necessarily, when I ask questions necessarily, to friends, to other people, it's not that I'm looking for a specific answer. I just I want to know, because that's a question I'm kind of pondering on right now, right? Like, what makes a great product? I mean, there's great products out there, but sometimes it's very transactional. You buy it, you leave, like, okay, cool, it's nice, good feeling. But then there's products that just kind of go the extra mile, that damn, Apple this, Twitter, for instance. I love Twitter because it's just so open, so open. It's like I read a tweet
Yeah.
the other day. It's like it's literally the last real social media because
Yes.
it literally it's happening now. Like their whole slogan, right, and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's like you know, there's other products I've bought where it's just a transactional emotion,
Mm,
right? Like, oh man,
mm,
yes, but that was it. You know, so it's
mm,
kind of just a question, and I like how you answered it, man. I like what you said
mm.
about it. But yeah, man, I want to talk more about you know, what you're building.
Hmm.
I know I've taken a look. Is it called, how do I pronounce it? Unubo?
You know what? You said it perfectly, actually.
Oh,
First
wow.
time. Yeah, yeah. And we've
Awesome.
left it deliberately open
Okay.
because of people's accents and whatever. Because there's people in African countries, they were like Unubo, or
Oh,
Germany, where I grew up actually. Although I'm
oh,
British, I grew up in Germany. They're like
oh,
Unubo, Unubo, like you said, Unubo, which is more, you know, maybe the Spanish kind of
yeah.
vernacular. But no, it's absolutely fine. It's good. You
Awesome,
pronounced it
man.
well. Yeah.
Awesome. I want to know more about it.
Mm,
How long have you been at it? I know you mentioned it's fully bootstrapped, it's fully self-funded.
mm,
You know,
mm.
let's go with the first part first. Like, how long have you been at it, and what's the mission on that side?
Right. So we've been at, so when I say we, it's my brother, my slightly younger brother who is based in London. By the way, I'm based in southern Spain in Malaga, and
Oh,
it's beautiful.
Malaga. Okay.
Yes, it's beautiful here.
Oh
So
man.
this is where I'm at. My brother is based in London, so
Okay.
I'm the business head, and he's the CTO, the technical
Mhm.
genius. So
Perfect. Okay.
just for context,
Yeah.
in regards to what I'm about to explain, we've been at it. In fact, are we in September now? We are, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know, right? You
because
don't even know.
I get fucked up with these dates, man. It's like,
Same, dude. It's crazy. I feel you on that one.
yeah, yeah. So we've been at this. Next month, it will be 4 years.
Oh,
And
nice.
we've tried several different iterations of different products, kind of getting it out there, failing a lot, trying a
Mhm.
lot. This time around, what it is that we've come up with a product that is something that people actually want,
Okay.
that people actually need, and that people actually are willing to pay for.
Okay.
And in a nutshell, what it is that we founders, modern founders within startups
Mhm.
today, we live in different tools,
Yeah.
right? So Stripe,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
all of our revenue stuff is in Stripe.
Yep.
Google Analytics, that's where we check where our traffic, about our traffic, how many visitors, where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm. Slack.
MailChimp, yeah, of
Slack.
course, Slack too. MailChimp for
Yeah.
messages and stuff.
Yeah.
So all we're trying to do is to do something very simple, a simple, beautifully designed. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
very important. It has to be
Yes.
beautifully designed and simple, not clogged up and trying to show you everything.
Correct.
Simply designed interface that brings the metrics, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
from all of these different places into one place. That's
I love
all.
it.
That's what Unubo is.
Okay.
Um, so you know, as a startup and as a founder,
Mm-hmm.
how you're progressing or not, and what
Yeah.
you can change to do so. And that, in a nutshell, that's what Unubo is.
No, I like it. And you know, from being you know, a co-founder dealing with different softwares, dealing with different platforms, you know, and this is a weekly thing. It's like, yo, man, where's this at? Where can I get this? Things like
Mm,
that, right? And you know, you're solving the problem of the organization part. And like you said, I like what you said. It has to be beautifully designed and simple. Because I mean,
yes.
you're talking about technically you're talking about some very crucial data. You know, for example, if you take analytics
Mm,
for instance, and you need your Mailchimp messages, and you
mm,
need everything. It's like you're taking these complex things, but you're putting them in a package and
mm.
having the interface in front, right?
It's absolutely. And we started human first. We said, what
Mm.
do founders do every day? How is our newsletter doing? Great, quick, gone, right? Not
Yes.
spend time that doom scrolling, right?
Yeah.
No, no, no. What are people saying about us online? Quick,
Yeah.
check, right, done. How much money we're making? Quick, check, done. We don't
Awesome.
want it to be an interface where you have to go into 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 different places to
Mm.
see how your business is doing. No, it's just one interface to see how your business is doing in different areas. That's it. And then you can leave and go carry on building and creating. That's it. That's
I
what we
like
want
it.
to do. Because the internet right now is I've been on the internet since age 11.
Oh, okay. Oh, you've
Yeah.
seen it shift. You've seen some
Uh,
shifts.
yeah. It's very much the distraction economy right now. You
Yes.
know,
I like that.
autoplay videos,
Yes.
pop-ups left, right, and center. Do you want to subscribe to this? Fuck you if you don't. You know, it's like there's all
Yeah.
of these passive aggressive notice here and there. I'm being dramatic, but you get what I mean.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Everything's popping up, vying for your attention. So what we're doing, besides providing value, is a very calming space for you to see how your efforts are compounding over time.
I like it, man. No, it's so true because I mean, you're speaking. That's something, for example, to kind of relate to that is, we're trying to build something, eliminate the distraction, right? Like for example, YouTube's such a great platform, man. I
So
live on YouTube. You
I
find
love
some,
it. Same.
yeah, you find some great people, some great content to learn from, right? But sometimes we forget. I mean, we don't forget. I mean, I go on YouTube, watch a music video. Drake drops a new
Yes.
video, right? I'm gonna go watch it.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we
Drake
forget
is like,
YouTube is meant for consumption, right? And entertainment. It's not necessarily for learning. So it's like, okay, let's emulate that. Let's emulate that, but strictly for learning. Eliminate all these distractions. Let's start being smart about maybe where we place the ad, how we deal with autoplay, right? And really focus on the psychological science of learning. How does someone actually retain information, and how can someone practice it, right? So I really like what you mentioned, because it comes down to design. It comes down to the attention of the user, which is actually decreasing as we speak.
for sure.
And it's crazy because we crave that. We're craving instant gratification.
Yes.
We want it now, right? And that's part of, I guess you could say, that was part of the progress in the tech industry, right? You want things quicker.
Yes.
But there's obviously some side effects, less attention. Maybe
For
there's
sure.
not enough affinity when you watch an ad. Like, how do I know this guy's not just bullshitting me, right? So I like that, man. I like that design. I'm curious to know, like, in the last 4 years, man, you've been fully bootstrapped, right?
Yes. So entirely bootstrapped. So I took some savings in the beginning of this journey. I left my previous job because I just said, this is enough. This is enough now. I've had enough meetings, enough water cooler chats, right? I'm old enough, but still young enough to carry on, and I'm done, right?
Yeah.
So bootstrap, yes. I did try to get some funding a year ago, and that's a whole other conversation that we could have at another time.
Definitely.
Talking about funding people that are underrepresented, whether that's brown people, brown folks, women, members of LGBTQ plus, right? So it's that's a whole other section, but it was difficult and I was not successful. But it was good because it let me remember that the ownership is important. Right. So what I'm building, and it's not just ownership of anything, it's just like, do I have something validated? Yes. People are telling me they're willing to pay for this. Great. Let me build this. Let me own it. And let me see how far I can go on my own. So,
I like it.
Yeah.
What's the main difficulty that you've kind of faced? I mean, bootstrapping.
It's there's a lot of different kinds of thoughts, and without putting a tinfoil hat on in regards to the conspiracy theories and stuff, but generally speaking, it's a lot of it is privilege, right? You're born a certain way, you have certain background, and you can then go into Stanford or Harvard, and you have a network straight away. You have a network. So that means you're already known by X amount of people who are in this network who can be able to get you funding. For example, me, many other people like myself have no network. We just came from, we just did it as, it's just the hustle, and it's great. I would not take it back for anything because it teaches you so much. But at the same time, it's harder, right? It's only now 4 years that I have some sort of a following on Twitter, some sort of a following I'm building somewhat of a network where I can say something and people support me. That's happened. That took 4 years.
I think that's very important. Before you go on, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, carry on.
Very important, because we're talking about the attention and we're talking about the instant gratification part, right? People want those 2,000, 4,000, 10K followers right first month. You're talking 4 years now.
Yeah.
But I like what you said because I'm big on affinity, right? On trust. You post something and someone is consuming that, what you said, and knows that you're speaking from a genuine, from a trustworthy standpoint and experience.
Oh yeah, it's me. It's all me. It's all me. And exactly. And it's the experience and the it's like the battle scars. You cannot fabricate those. You cannot shortcut those. You cannot say, how am I going to growth hack this shit? You cannot do that. It's like, no, I've been through some shit. I've been through an eviction with my family, right? I've been through all sorts of stuff. And that's not to say, you know, cry me a river. Yeah, it was hard. But at the same time, no, we're here. We're still here and we're still carrying on. And it's now at a point where it's like, oh shit, now I can, you know, now I can go into a room and I can speak to certain people because I've done this shit. You know what I mean?
I love it.
So it's just about doing if you don't have the background, if you don't have the Harvard or the Stanfords, right? Or the rich or the trust fund, whatever, you know, you have to just do the fucking work, and it just takes a while. It takes a while, and it just teaches you along the way. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
And I know you mentioned your brother's on the CTO, right?
That's right. Yes.
Right. Technical.
Yes.
Do you consider yourself technical as well, or are you more kind of you know, on the back end stuff like?
Yeah, that's a cool question. So I'm technical adjacent. Let's put it that way. I'm I'm in the vicinity. I don't code. Let's put it that way. Okay. But my background is our dad. He's a genius. He used to program rockets for the British aerospace.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah. So it was like really 1% kind of knowledge of genius skill. So he taught me hardware and he taught my brother software.
Smart man.
Yeah. Man. I mean, when I was 8 and I wanted my first computer, he said, "Here's your computer," and it was built. It was beautiful. It was this monitor and the game was running on it, and he pulled it apart.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said, this is this part, this is the CPU, this is RAM, this is hard drive, Leandro, right? Yes. And this is this, and this is how they hang together. I'm 8, okay?
Yeah.
This is how they hang together, and this is how they work. This is the brain of this, right? This is like the liver, this is like this. He just explained it like body parts, and he said, if you build this and it works and it turns on with that beep, you know, with the PC like booting up,
yes,
you can keep it. It took me a week, but I put it together. And that was my beginning of my journey. So
that's amazing, man. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So so I'm technical. I understand how it works, but more from a hardware perspective.
Okay.
I understand code. I understand. I can explain it to developers to build something for me. I understand concepts because I like to be in control and know what's happening, but I don't code. But yeah, so I'm semi-technical. Yeah, for sure.
And the reason I ask, man, because I feel like sometimes I think we think about when we dive into tech, right? When we're talking about tech, right? I mean, technology, it has the word tech in it, technical, right?
Yeah.
People have this assumption or they're primed to think that you have to code, that you have to literally know how to write a line of code and how to build this, right? And I think it's been changing for years now. And I think now, especially, you know, if you're aware of the no code movement, the no.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful, man. And I think because for me, right, I didn't grow up, you know, in hardware or software, right? I was more like, I've always been, I guess you could say, social. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but now that I'm in this space, I'm like, I would have never thought I'd be building an ed tech company, because I would convince myself, like, I don't know code. Like, how are you going to tell me? But I know my strengths and my flaws. Luckily, we have a CTO who is technical. We have a CEO who understands that, very similar to you, where he could explain to a developer, but doesn't necessarily know the actual system of writing code, right? And we have a CIO, right, cloud-based. But it's like, and we're Latinos, you know, we're underrepresented groups.
Yes.
So it's like, man, like, you know, you can, there's no, and that's the reason I asked, because I think we have this conception, like, you know, these founders have to be technical. Like, you have to know how to write a line of code. You have to be Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, you know, like.
It's all your mindset, man. It's your mindset. Yeah. Just fucking do something, you know, like you're doing it now. You have this podcast that doesn't need to be technical.
Yeah.
Fuck technical. Like not to dismiss it. You coding is amazing. You can create something out of nothing, but you're also creating something out of nothing by having this podcast.
Yeah.
Community.
Yeah.
You know, like, just it's all relevant. It's all
Correct.
powerful. You know. So
Correct.
and they all need each other. You know.
Exactly. They all could coexist together seamlessly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like you said, and not to dismiss it, because I mean, coders, at my respect to developers, man, they think differently. Engineers. Yeah, man. But like you said, you know, there's different components. And
Absolutely.
it all plays together, man. But yeah, Leandro,
Sure.
I mean, you know, I'm thankful to have you here, man, and thank you for sharing a little bit about your background, man. Letting me get to know you a bit more, man. And for people listening, this is the first time I've ever spoken to Leandro, like on
same.
you know, we've interacted on Twitter and whatnot,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's refreshing, man. It's refreshing. Thank you for sharing, you know, your insight on different things, being very genuine, man. And I'm excited for you, for what's to come with the Unubo. And then, you know, as a person too, man, I'm following you. I've been following you, and I love what you're doing, man. Thank you for taking the time to chatting with me.
I like your energy. I like questions that you asked. I like the and I'm quite particular within this. I don't know how I would communicate it if it didn't go well, but it has gone well, and your pacing is really good. The questions that you ask is really good. Your energy is great.
Thank you, man.
And I've enjoyed this conversation genuinely, whether it was recorded or not. So
thank you, man.
I appreciate you.
I that means a lot to me, man. It gives me, you know, it gives me juiced. It makes me happy, and this is exactly what fuels me. You know, this is exactly the connection, man. And
please keep going.
Yeah, thank you, man. And this won't be the last time. And before we end it,
sure.
Where can people find you, man? I know Twitter, you know, but where can people find you?
Yes.
Where do you?
So on Twitter, I'm Leandro. That's Leandro 8209. Leandro 8209. My company is called Unubo, Unubo. That is just that on Twitter. And that's all. That's the only place I'm at. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. I'm a tech minimalist. So that's the only places I'm at. So this has been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leandro. And you know, you said you're in Malaga, right? I'm
in Malaga, Spain. Yes.
What time is it out right now?
It is 11:30 p.m.
Okay, thank you, man. It's 2 p.m. out here in California, so I appreciate you, man, once again, and we'll stay in touch.
Absolutely, we'll be online. We'll see each other.
Cheers, man. Take care.
Keep going. All right, awesome. Bye.
Bye.